Hello there, and welcome to part two of my conversation with Leeanne Gardner, who shared what happened to her when she lost her passion, when her beloved horse was sold by her parents when they divorced. It left a mark for years. I'm Tomas Keegan, and your host of Tips for the Transition. Leeanne is co-author of an inspiring new book called From Resilience to Brilliance, and it'll be available on Amazon starting in early July. I'm delighted to share the inspiring stories of the women who co-authored this book, and Leeanne is one of them, because they help us to know we're not alone when life turns us upside down. Thanks, Leeanne, for joining me again and for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I am certain that you went through all kinds of emotional trauma when your parents made that decision to sell your horse, and it changed your life. You told us that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you tell us a bit more about what you felt and how you dealt with it and how you renewed your passion for horses?
Sure. Emotions. Emotions are always so much fun when they bubble up. So at age 16, the first one, when I was told, when my dad said, I'm moving to California, we need to sell your horse. His name was Doobie. I didn't know what a Doobie was when I was 16. So I first was very angry. And my dad was very good at stuffing his emotions, I learned from him. Again, not the best trait. And then my mom, being Catholic, was you just kind of stuff your emotions. So I wasn't really raised where you talked about them openly. So I had to kind of just figure it out. So anger was my first emotion. How can you do this to me? You're divorcing. I was never home that much, so I don't remember that much, but I was always with the horses, so you're taking that one big thing away from me. So anger was probably the first thing that bubbled up, which was probably led by the grief, because it was, I'm losing my best friend, my boyfriend, and my life. So, I think the anger of betrayal probably, and a breach of trust. Who do I trust now? Because going through a divorce, as so many people have, especially at the age of 16, 17, it's such a pivotal point. And so now your whole foundation is rocked. And if you don't have a support system, which I didn't, because all my siblings were gone, and I was so much younger than most of them, I didn't have a really close relationship with it, really, other than my oldest sister, or my next older sister. I didn't have that. So that betrayal and lack of trust that, well, I've got to do this myself, and I don't really trust anyone. So, and apathetic. I think maybe when I talk about constructing that wall, it's like nothing else matters. I'm just going to kind of just turn myself gray. I don't care. I'm going to go through the motions. And I think maybe apathy is a really good word, as another self-protection for me.
Yeah, and I don't hear that word a lot. Thank you for sharing that. I don't hear that a lot when I talk to women about what they're feeling. But you're right. That is a really good way to describe. And I've heard you talk about living in the gray before versus in living color. And I love when you use that, because it is so, it just conjures an amazing image for me. So thanks for sharing that. So can you tell us how did you deal with it? How did you get beyond it?
How did I get beyond it? Well, as I think when I entered the corporate realm, I got beyond it by immersing myself in work. So again, I think that's something that so many women do is, okay, I'm dealing with this part, so how can I shut myself off from that and just focus and just get into my job or get into my career without understanding that it still has a total impact on who you are and what you're going through. So you know, it wasn't until the 17 years later, I think, that I allowed myself to go where I hadn't allowed myself to go because of the pain. So when I opened up my heart, you know, unbridle your passion and lead with your heart. When I opened up my heart to something that meant so much to me and allowed myself to just see how that felt. Because again, so many women, if you've constructed this wall, if you don't know if you still feel passionate about that, you'll never know until you explore it. So for me, the horses absolutely were like, hello, where have you been? We welcome you back. I remember one time speaking, just a really quick story about this. I speak about unbridle your passion and lead with your heart. And I asked the audience, you know, have any of you built a wall up against something that meant a lot to you, but you went through this pain? And this woman started emoting, and she got tears, and she said, I loved to play the piano as a child. And my dad took the piano out of the house because he said I played it so horribly. So I've never touched it in 50 years. So those kind of stories, I'm like, go play the piano. I believe she is. So it's that kind of thing that it's like, what really lit you up as a child that you built a wall against? You know, it's time to knock down the walls. And then that the emotions will, then you can kind of process those emotions more, you know, and emotions can wreak havoc on your body. I love essential oils for a lot of different reasons, but, you know, grief and anger for your liver, it can really cause a lot of illness. So if you don't deal with it, chances are, if you've got some different symptoms on things that you have chronic illness, it could be an emotion that's gone untouched. So I'd invite you to explore how you can kind of touch into that and open up, get through it.
Yeah, that's great advice. It's hard to do. It's scary. And I would recommend that you not try to do it alone.
No.
Because to reach out for some help with that, because it is a scary thing to think that I may have stuffed something so deeply and just gone through the motions. So, you know, I just keep going through the motions, right? Coping, surviving, doing fine.
Yeah, as you know, what we resist persists. Exactly. So just like, you know, how you help women navigate, you're a fantastic tool for a lot of women that are navigating through some of this. And if they need additional help, then you've got so many tools in your toolbox for licensed counselors or therapists or energy healers that can help go a little bit deeper. Yeah. But just don't let it just fester.
Yeah.
Really important.
Yeah, and I love what you said. You know, if there is something that you've set aside, just explore it again. It may no longer be a passion for you, but at least allow the emotions that caused you to build that wall to come through the cracks slowly, so that you can at least deal with the emotion that caused you to relinquish your passion. And see what happens, because I think that's when the magic starts to happen.
Absolutely, and feel into it, because you'll know.
Yes.
If that little tingle of, oh my gosh, I really miss this, comes up, and you don't have to rush into it because you're dealing with a wall. Yeah. So, you know, be mindful, and, you know, or you can knock down the wall like I did and go get 7 horses at home and 2 with trainers. Go crazy. At the time I could afford that, but, you know, just explore it. Yeah. Life is too short not to. Life is too short to continue to go on and have those walls built up that you have no idea, that just chipping away at one of those walls really may be the key to more of a life balance for you.
Yeah, I agree. I wish we could go deeper into this subject, because it is, and maybe we can in another interview, because I think it's fascinating. I'd love to learn more about what you do with horses. But we'll let our viewers contact you directly in our next episode. We'll tell them how. So in our wrap-up segment with Leeanne, She's going to share what she learned through this journey to find her passion again, so that she can help you do the same. So please stay tuned for tomorrow. Till then, I'm Maria Tomas Keegan.